Hello and welcome. This is Eric from AD Racing Central. 30 years ago, the first Wipeout game was released and it helped kickstart the sales of the newly released PlayStation 1. Suddenly, video games could be edgy, cool and feature modern club music. Numerous titles have been released since then, and everything culminated with the conclusive sounding Wipeout Omega Collection for PS4. This collection includes the PS3 titles Wipeout HD and Fury from 2008 and 2009 respectively, and Wipeout 2048, originally released for the PS Vita in 2012. Even though technical improvements have been made for this PS4 updated compilation, I would argue that Wipeout Omega Collection, released in 2017, is still one of the best racing games you can buy. Let me tell you why. One of the reasons is the sheer amount of content in the bundle. There are 3 campaigns to choose from, the first one being Wipeout HD. A quite substantial campaign, with 3 different difficulties that takes you through 8 different events that slowly but steadily introduce you to the different tracks, game modes and speed classes. You pick one of 14 available ships or teams and off you go. Wipeout Fury added more of the same, with new tracks, new game modes and an entirely new grid campaign to play through. Most importantly though, a Fury variant of 12 of the teams were introduced with an even more futuristic look alongside improved stats. The most notable new modes included zone battles and detonator events that added some much appreciated variety to the campaign, and for online skirmishes for the more dedicated players. Wipeout 2048 is more to be viewed as a completely separate game, as it is a prequel, taking place approximately 150 years earlier, right after the foundation of anti-gravity racing. The 10 tracks in this game are completely different in the design, with emphasis on broader sections tailored for combat and plentiful skill cuts that give an advantage to players who can handle them. The surroundings are also different, as the aesthetics of the buildings are more similar to architecture of today. There are only 5 teams in this game, but they all have 4 ships each in different classes, and that includes a prototype with some truly unique attributes. This actually ties well into the first point I want to make about Wipeout Mega Collection still being so great. There is a lot to do in this game. 3 different and quite lengthy campaigns, different difficulties, extra challenges to complete and numerous ships to try out. Even if you have no plans of competing online, there are several hours of enjoyment to be had from this game. That's also a budget title nowadays. One of gaming's greatest and also oldest challenges has always been how to combine accessibility with depth, or as the old mantra goes, a game needs to be easy to learn but hard to master. In racing games, things are usually relatively straightforward, and the depth often lies beneath a simple control scheme. In Wipeout Mega Collection, you can steer and accelerate as the basis for everything you want to accomplish on the track. There is no brakes in the classic sense, as the ships hover above ground, but they are all equipped with air brakes on both sides that help you with sharp turns. Pitching is also a thing, as you need to adjust your time in the air. Usually you want to touch the ground as soon as possible, but you also want to stay in the air for long enough to make a barrel roll, rewarding you with a huge speed boost when you land. Finally, you can make quick adjustments to either side, a so-called side shift, by double tapping either air brake. That is actually all the controls in this game, so there's not a lot to take in. Everything is easy to grasp and you'll have a good time with minimal amount of practice. But to master the side shifts, perfect your pitching and handle all tiny little intricacies of every track, we are probably talking hundreds of hours of practice. The footage from the player The Honest Fork that you have been watching now will probably give you a good idea of what I'm talking about. There's also something that's so pure about this game. It's just plain fun to play. There is no real progression system in Wipeout Mega Collection in the modern sense of the word. You unlock new ships and liveries every now and then, but it's really nothing compared to what we are used to from more recent games. I have played plenty of games in general, including other racing games where you unlock new upgrades, parts, cars, skins and so on every other race, so to the point that you keep grinding just to see what the next reward is. In Wipeout Mega Collection, it's the other way around, as the thing that draws you back into the game is the gameplay itself. There really is no need for rewards to be constantly thrown in your face after each race when you have so much fun during the race. I'm not a conservative gamer, but I think this concept is reminiscent of a long-gone era of gaming where things were more simple and pure. I remember playing the Halo games during my late teens and early 20s where I would just pop a game into my Xbox, pick a level I enjoyed and play that level, simply because I wanted to. I feel exactly the same way when I keep falling back to Wipeout Omega Collection when I don't know what other game to play, because I know I'm guaranteed to have a good time. There's also no way of getting around how refined this game is. It's been years since the last update, and it's remarkable how few bugs there are. I mean, they do exist, but they are few and far between. And also, just look at how sharp all the textures are and how smooth the game runs with this rock-solid 60 frames per second. It's indeed interesting that one of the best-looking PS4 titles was released all the way back in 2017. And in my experience, the game looks just as good on the first generation of PS4 as well, even if you can experience the game in glorious 4K if you own a PS4 Pro or PS5. And it's not only the general graphics that look good either. If you take a close look at all the ships, you can find little dents and marks from weapon hits and collisions, and it's these tiny imperfections that almost tell a story of their own about the ships and the teams they belong to. Speaking of that, if you're interested in the rich story and lore about Wipeout, you'll ironically find nothing of it in the game, but there is plenty on the wiki fandom page. I actually recommend reading through the history of all the teams as it brings some context to the racing. Or you can watch HELLFIRE'S video on the topic, that I'll link it to in the description. If online competition is what you're looking for, this game features no matchmaking system, but you can surprisingly enough actually find an open lobby every now and then. First and foremost though, Wipeout Omega Collection is what is usually called a Discord racer, where you need to find your opponents in various forums. Example of where you can do this is the AG Racing Foundation Discord server, and also my own AG Racing Central Discord server. Links to both of these are in the description. Competitions, events and casual races are organized on a regular basis, and players of all skill levels are welcome. The online community of Wipeout Omega Collection reminds you of the online community of Titanfall 2, a game that also received its final update years ago, but still has an active player base. The reason for this is simple, as there just isn't any game like it out there. The same goes for Wipeout Omega Collection in my opinion. If you don't care so much about progression, level up systems and abundance of unlockables, but instead value extremely solid gameplay, where the only thing that levels up is your own personal skill, Wipeout Omega Collection is the game for you. If you already own Wipeout Omega Collection and want to know how to improve at the game, click on this video. And feel free to let me know your opinion about the game in the comments. Thank you for watching. I am Eric from Media Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video.